Hey, I'm Cliff.
And I'm Susan.
And welcome to the Cliff and Susan podcast.
We are excited to be here today with a very special guest, Sarah Heer. Welcome. How are you?
So happy to be here.
I'm excited to share her journey and her business and what she's done with her career. And there's a lot of similarities in some of the things she does and what we're doing as musicians. So before we get started, thanks for listening to the podcast. We are always loving sharing other businesses in Arkansas as well as musicians and just following along with our career and what we do as full-time musicians. We are here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and without further ado, I'm going to jump into a little bit of background on Sarah and what she does so you guys can get to hear some of the awesome things that she's done so far. We actually had her on our podcast. I want to say it's been 5 years. I think it was during COVID.
I think so.
That's when we started our podcast, and I think we're on episode 60 now or something, but we did most of those podcasts when we were all at home and, had some time. So we're excited to really rev this back up in 2025. So, it's been crazy that it's been 5 years since pandemic.
I know, that's wild.
So Sarah Heer is the award-winning founder and chief creator at Arkie Travels, and you travel full-time as a content creator.
I do.
And so I know that you show off locally owned shops, eats and stays, and your bio says you're a waterfall junkie and loves all things outdoors.
Absolutely.
I love that because I love waterfalls. And when I first started following your page, I mean, the amount of waterfalls in Arkansas and some like way higher than you would think a waterfall would be in Arkansas.
Sure.
There's like, I think, what is it, something hollow that was...
Hemden Hollow
was like 280 feet or something like that.
And it's actually the tallest waterfall between, I think, the Rockies and the Appalachians. So it's pretty cool that we have that here in our state.
Yeah, it's really cool. So many like really just awesome oasis type places that I've never visited, and we definitely need to visit.
Time to go waterfall chasing. Let's go.
Right.
I've heard that you don't go chasing waterfalls, but
that's
the musician. Sorry,
that's funny. So we're going to learn more about Arkansas, which I'm so excited because, of course, growing up in Arkansas, I just that's such it's just home to us.
Absolutely.
And, we travel all over the world, but I say Arkansas is the best kept secret. And
I completely agree.
We shouldn't keep the secret, and that's what we're here to talk about today, and how we spread the message and show off our beautiful state.
For sure.
So Arkie Travels specializes in short form video and has a fast growing audience of over 350,000 followers across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Mm-hmm. I know you know this about me, and most people who have followed us know that I love content creation. So we're going to dive into how I've learned from Sarah and just how excited I am to have you here to learn more today. And your content is so beautiful, and it's just so cool. So congrats on that growth, and we'll talk about how you achieved that number today, and how long it took you and that kind of thing. And then some of Sarah's most successful partnerships include Walmart and Academy Sports, Silver Dollar City, which is in Missouri, Alaska Tourism, which is super cool, Alaska.
Yeah.
Louisiana Tourism, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Florida, come on now. That would be Alabama, right?
Alabama.
Oklahoma City, Arkansas Tourism, and Sweet Home, Alabama. So let's just jump into, there's so much to unpack here. And I think, just an all-encompassing statement before we go into everything and all the questions I have. I think we live in the digital age, and I love marketing, and I love all the things that you can do to get your brand out there. And as musicians, we've definitely learned how to, lean into the content creation space. But I feel like, is it safe to say that digital is where it's at?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think for travel, I think people don't Google as much as they previously did. They're more watching TikTok, watching Instagram, seeing different places, and then saving them and saying, I'm going to go here in the future.
Yeah.
And so, like for me, I just got back from Belize. I was down there for the month of February, and I planned my trip based on videos that I was seeing and created my little save folder, and then I could go back and be like, oh yeah, that's where I want to go while I'm there. I'm going to go to this restaurant. I'm going to do this. And so it's been really awesome in the digital age to be able to find places that are cool, and I'm sure as a musician as well, finding things that you can be inspired by.
Exactly. So like when we were in Nashville and I was looking, I would go, instead of Googling someone's business or whatever, I actually went to their Instagram to see what their link was to look at their, because I was like, well, who's playing tonight? And it's interesting that actually went what platforms I chose to go, or chose either way, to go and find, you know, the information. And so I think it's so important, any brands, musicians, small businesses, large companies, whatever level you're on, to really make sure you're optimizing those profiles, because you're getting discovered. And so then working with an influencer like you to really lean into the content that's going to get audiences and eyeballs from other spaces. So I guess, you know, I know what an influencer is.
I struggle so much with that word, I need to tell you.
And I don't know if that's the right content creator, influencer.
It is. It is.
It's the same kind of
It's the proper word. It is kind of interchangeable. When I think about influencer, though, I think about like superstars, like, you know, Kim Kardashian and like all the, no. But I think about like big people that are influencing for big brands. I don't really think about myself, but that's kind of the way that things have evolved.
Yes.
Is that the word of mouth that you can purchase now when working with an influencer is like something that you can't get anywhere else, because they already have a trusted audience. They have people that know and love them, and that, like, my people come to me and they're like, I'm going to go somewhere because you said so. Because I know that when I go there, it's going to be a great place. I'm going to get great service. It's going to be fantastic. And it's going to have something unique attached to it.
Yeah.
So I think that is kind of how I've come to grasp, come to be friends with this word influencer.
Yeah. And the other thing is that micro influencer, mini influencer, which I guess there's like maybe a threshold on numbers, or like an analytic behind so many followers categorizes you as a certain level. And then like you mentioned, the Kardashians and stuff like that. I think in the musician space, like Lainey Wilson is doing brand deals with Wrangler and Whataburger, and some of these, when I think through the musician lens, it's like these influencers are leveraging her fan base to influence those brands at that level.
Absolutely.
But we are going to talk today about the micro, is that a safe word?
Yeah, macro.
Yeah. Micro in the influencer space, where you can do and grow a really great, make a living.
Absolutely, you can.
And do it on a local, build it, start. So how did you get started? Let's go there. How did you get started in content creation? And I guess twofold, how long did it take for you to get to where you're like, I'm paying my bills and this is my thing?
Well, and a second is was it an idea, or did it start just kind of accidental?
Oh, no, it was totally accidental.
Okay.
Yeah, it was totally accidental. So I was, I had booked a tiny home for a friend's birthday, and I posted it on my personal page, and people started messaging me saying, where is this? Can you send me the link? All the things. And I was like, well, you know, what if I started a page just for my travel? Like, I'm already going out and about. Why not have a page specifically dedicated to the waterfalls, the trails, all the things? And so on the back roads of Arkansas, just came up with this page name, went ahead and hopped on and reserved it. And it was like, okay, well, let's go.
And Arkie Travels was it from the beginning.
Arkie Travels was
so
it
you never
from the
rebranded.
beginning.
It was like that.
Nice.
I love that. You know, we have our festival, Yodaloo, which is parked right now. We're waiting to bring it back when it feels right. But
I love that you say it's parked. So that's
parked.
Amazing.
it's on pause. I
Yes.
have ways to say, like, we learned so much, but the true transparency is, like, after the pandemic, it was hard to keep.
For
you know?
sure.
So we're looking at some goals for that. But my point there was, like, we came up with this name, and then you go Google it, you're like, anybody have that? And then it's like, so I'm glad that.
Such a great name.
You know, thank you. So I love coming up with, brand ideas and stuff. So you started with the name, and then how long did it take before you were like, oh, I'm able to monetize this?
Yeah. So in 2020, it was actually a very good year for me. Did all 52 state parks in Arkansas.
Which is cool. 52 weeks.
52 weeks, 52 parks. And the parks never closed. And so it was a great time to really get out. They were empty. There was nobody there. And so I was able to go and really create a YouTube channel, like really blossom into this thing. But short form video didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
Like, it was long form content.
Right.
It was doing YouTube videos. It was doing IGTV, like all of those things that existed
Isn't it
back
crazy
then.
how much has evolved?
Yeah, for sure. So did that, and then short form video kind of was born in that 2022, 2023 range. I said that 2020 and then 2021. Yeah, so stepping into that and really embracing this idea of vertical video and stepping away from horizontal content.
Which is a major shift for a lot of people.
I was doing them both at the same time for a very long time. Like, for a year, I did them both at the same time.
Well, for example, and let's pause for a second. Like, right now, we are filming this for our YouTube channel. This is like long form, horizontal for the landscape, but we're also going to bite size this up into short form video so that we can tease it, so hopefully people will come watch the YouTube.
Exactly.
So it is definitely learning about how you leverage tech stack later. We'll talk about what you use to create your short form, but also clarify real quick, short form, like I know the answer.
Like
I think
a minute or less.
Yeah, a minute or less. And why vertical was? I guess I'm trying to softball this up for you to talk about TikTok. But why did short form video kind of start hitting the popularity side of things?
So vertical video actually takes up the entire screen of your phone. So as you're scrolling, it's just easy to watch a
maximizing
video.
the real estate, yeah.
Exactly. And so it really also, it's hurt our focus, but it's also, I don't know, it's been kind of great because now you can see these just bite-sized little things and get the information very quickly.
Now. Like
we do.
So,
it's so bad.
Oh, I get on TikTok and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just doing this. I'm just scrolling. Like I'm not even like stopping to listen to what they're saying. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like,
You're doom scrolling.
That bothers me to no end. That you just
he watches me do it.
He's like you're not even consuming any information at this point.
I'm like, I got a problem. So I think we're definitely this day and age, we're TikTokers or Reels and all of that. So the other thing that I think that is really cool about what TikTok seems to have really inspired, which turned into Reels for the other platforms and YouTube Shorts, but that it's not just who follows you that sees them. It's like people can discover you. The algorithm of those platforms are going to allow you, without spending money and putting it in front of people, you're able to maybe, if you do good content, it'll then serve it up to other people who don't know about you. Is that
Absolutely. Yeah. TikTok truly changed the entire industry.
Right.
The algorithm is insane. I have no idea how it works, but I know that there are tiny creators that can get millions and millions of views getting on that For You page.
Yeah. So I kind of got ahead of ourselves. But anyway, so back to, you started short form video, and then where did you head from that?
Short form video is where it blew up.
Okay.
And, getting on TikTok, getting on Reels, and really taking advantage of cross-posting all of my videos. So how kind of my process works is I edit once, and then I put the same video across every single platform. And so there's a tech piece that I use that allows me to download it in high res with the music, the trending audio, and the titles. And so I'm able to really go across the board on that. And that is what has created very consistent growth across every platform.
So when you say that, and I'm curious, is that CapCut for you?
It is not. It's Power Director. I have used CapCut. I do love it. It's fantastic. I recommend it to my students. But I am a Power Director girl. I don't know why or what it is, but I love it.
Well, I'll have to check that out because I'm a tech geek. But so whenever when you say trending audio, is that trending audio pretty typical across all platforms?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to ask too, because I was like, well, yeah, we've tried to post the same content, and we're like, dang, that song's not available over on this. So.
Yeah, what you'll find is that TikTok is trending first, and then about a week later, the same song will trend on Instagram.
You heard it here, y'all. She's teaching. She's teaching. I'm loving learning about all that. So, so that took off for you. So your numbers started growing from there.
Yeah, with the growth of TikTok, like you can grow so fast on there when you have videos that are hitting, and so I hit like 80,000 followers in less than a year. Like it was insane.
That's so crazy. We have a challenge with our TikTok page because and I think this is why, and I know that some of it's still a mystery, but I started TikTok and got on there immediately and was rebranded it to the Cliff and Susan TikTok handle. But we went viral and had 6 million views on this little gummy.
Way to go.
Well, no, I think we actually messed ourselves up because it was us pulling a gummy octopus apart. It had nothing to do with music. So we started getting these followers and all this stuff, and we're only at 6,000 followers right now. And I'm just like, I'm so stubborn. I don't want to go and like start a new channel because I'm like, I can't let go of Cliff and Susan, and I've done all this content on here. But we don't tend to, and I'd love to work with you and see if we can figure this out, but we can't seem to get the algorithm, because now when we're posting like our country music, I'm like, these people who followed us aren't necessarily here for our music. In my brain, this is what the problem is. Maybe it's just our content, but I feel like I've grown in my content creation skill set. So we're struggling with that number because we'll get, maybe 7,000 views on a good day, on a good day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're like 200 and 300 views. So I'm sharing
it's on content that's like, dang, this is totally going to go
this
viral.
Is good stuff.
And it does really well for us on Facebook. So we're like, why is this not translating to TikTok? So anyway, that's maybe a conversation for later. But yeah, we see so many people just get on there and just immediately start having tens of thousands of followers. And so I know some of that's an elusive what is it exactly, but
Right.
we're going to talk about how maybe you would recommend for someone to get that eventual viral moment.
Sure.
So you when you said you got 80,000 followers in a year.
Yeah, like in a year on TikTok. Yeah.
That's
Now it hasn't grown as much since then.
Okay.
So it's like it blew up in the TikTok era.
Yeah,
quote
I was going to
unquote.
say maybe. Do you think the algorithm switched, or was it saturation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like there was a change that happened. And also, the more people that get on and start creating content, the more the For You page has to choose from. And so the less likely it's like, you know.
On the For You page, how important are these hashtags, the FYP and all of that
Yeah,
stuff?
not
That's
important.
what I
And
thought.
in fact, you don't really want to use
I
those
feel like
because
it's kind of like
it's just like with your octopus gummy video. Like you're
Yeah.
pulling in an audience that's not the actual audience that
right,
you want.
Right. So
Yeah, for me, it's more about keywords, like
Yeah.
making sure that you're SEO optimized, that you're using keywords that people are searching for. And right now, TikTok has that creator, what is it called? The creator insight page that is amazing. Like that is how you get on and you create based on what people are searching for. It's awesome.
Right.
I bounced over there. I wish there was 8 of me.
I know, right? Can I please clone myself?
I know we're going to talk about AI because I know you've got a course on AI and how to create some content. And so, do you also teach on how to go and look at that
Absolutely, I
the
do.
creator page?
For sure.
So we're going to talk about that. So I know I keep going off into the rabbit trail space of all of the things. So catch us up. Now you are full time, doing well with your brand.
Yeah, I would say I went full time 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I've been full time for about 2 or 3 years, I think.
And so I would love to ask, because to me it looks like I know we love what we do. I know you love what you do.
For
So
sure.
for the most part, there's always, if you get to do what you love for a living, that's like, to me, that's success, first of all. And it's just so you don't feel like you work. But what were some of the challenges early on, and maybe some challenges now being, your women-owned business, you run the ship, you got all of these hats that you wear. I'm curious, like, what are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome, or
Definitely the financial ups and downs. You
Okay.
know, with the industry, you're always pitching.
Yes.
You're always trying to bring in new income sources, new jobs, and finding that evenness with the finances is
Yeah.
very, very difficult because
I
it
feel
it
that.
comes in waves. There are peaks and valleys, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that creating a digital product or a course is the way that you really kind of bring that level up so that you're able
Love
to
that.
meet your income goals every month. And then when those peaks come, it's like, oh, this is so much higher
Love that.
than it would be before. Yeah.
Love that. So that really does tee me up into the content creator course I took. So first of all, I love the course.
Thank you.
I know you have since released more. So give me, I know we talked about content creator course, but she has some online resources that will teach you to do what she does. And so I love that. First of all, we have the Entertainers Academy for us, and we like to teach, other artists how to have a full-time income and really lean hard into the creating a show that you can book live. And then all of the things that you can do as a musician as well. But for us, it's been, we teach what we know works, and it's those shows that we do. But what have you created as far as what can people find from you on your online course space?
So first of all, I want to say a rising tide lifts all ships. So
Yes.
if you are not helping your fellow person rise, if you are gatekeeping, like there is no room for that here.
Yeah.
There is no room
Somebody
for not
else is
sharing your knowledge.
gonna share. I mean, so
Exactly.
you might as well.
Yes. I mean, it might as well be something where you can bring somebody up along with you. People ask me questions all the time, and I love getting to share my knowledge. I think that that's so important for helping the world around us be able to elevate.
Yeah.
I just love that. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, so back to the point.
Yeah.
So several different courses. I do a creator monetization course, which that's probably the number one question I get is, how do you make money at this? How are
And
you
I think
full time?
that's the one that I took.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah.
And I told her before we started today, I said, I might get a course and I just go I go on double time. I put everything on twice the speed, and I go just consume everything I can, and then I make my notes to go back. So I need to go back. But I loved and even Cliff and I have used a lot of the tools that you
good.
teach
Yay.
in that course. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I love that course.
It's all about the different income sources that I have used to be able to grow my business and do this full time. I have about 12 different income streams. They come from all different sources. And so it's just being able to share that knowledge of, here are the affiliate marketing tools that I use. Here are the UGC videos that I make. Here is how I integrate products, physical products, into my brand, and how I've been able to have those carried in state parks, gift stores, and in gift shops all over the state. And so it's just cool to be able to share that.
And talk about that real quick. I know you've seen the map their map that they have. So what is that?
Yeah, so it's a scratch-off map. Basically, we took the 52 Arkansas state parks and we turned it into a challenge. And now it's an official challenge, so you can join Club 52 as part of Arkansas State Parks, which is amazing. But we created a scratch-off map because right now, State Parks has a passport, and it's like a booklet.
Right.
Yes.
But this is a way for you to hang it on your wall and be able to really see your progress of scratching off the little trees of each park that you've been to. And it's just kind of a fun way to track.
That's cool. Yeah, that I love that. And so back to Cliff's waterfalls. So we need
a waterfall scratcher.
A waterfall scratch off map, right?
Yeah. but the 52, I think. So we're looking at a travel trailer and taking the dogs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, no, we're about to, like, very soon.
Oh,
and
that'd be so cool.
it's just it really started with the dogs, but also we should.
We don't like to board our dogs when we go.
Yeah. No, it's so expensive boarding 3 dogs, and just the stress that it causes them and us, because
right?
we don't have.
Yeah, this your babies.
Yeah, it's therapy. So we really need to do some traveling and try to book some shows in some places that we haven't been.
Yeah.
And do some adventure time while we're there.
Yeah, so I was talking to the Murphy Arts District in El Dorado the other day, and I saw that y'all are on the list for this season, and I was like, yes!
Yeah.
So that's so fun.
Well, that's a good example for us, because we go to Nashville and we go, but our state, I guess from here in Central Arkansas, about 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours can be a drive here to stay in the state. We get booked all over the state. And so we're like, if we had our travel trailer, we could go set up camp, do our show, have our dogs, and then still be able to, save the money. And so really we were thinking through more like the business side of things. But all of that being said, we could go and do the 52 map, and
that'd be so much fun.
And do like a maybe we could do a thing where we're
yes,
like
we will.
And we have a song called A Natural State, which
I love. I love that song.
So our idea was that we would go get content all over the state and then put together a music video, which still I think can happen. We're just I started thinking, man, I could contact all of the CVBs.
Yeah, I know.
And all of that. So we've got ideas on that for sure. But
I love it. I can't wait to see it.
What else so I wanted to talk about the AI side of things with you. I know we talked about the content creator monetization course, but you have a new AI course, is that correct?
I have a couple of different things. So I've got an AI encyclopedia of prompts for creators.
Okay.
And it's specifically been broken down by creator type. And I just realized that I don't have a section for musicians.
Oh.
I need to add that. Ooh. Like, what on earth is wrong with me?
Yes.
So I'm going to add that this afternoon.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's got things for people who want to create on YouTube, people who are bloggers, just all different sections of prompts that you can use to stay ethical and to maintain your integrity in using AI.
Okay.
I know that as far as AI for musicians, like, you have showed me how an entire song can be created by AI and sung like it's coming from your voice and like all of these things. And so for me as a creator, I want to maintain my integrity and make sure that I'm doing things the right way. But also the AI is a very powerful tool. And so I'm not going to be like, no, I'm not going to use AI. Right. I'm going to be like, how do I use it responsibly?
My thing is we partner with it. Cliff, I mean, I'd love for you to kind of talk about where your head is with when she's talking about the creating the songs with AI. I mean, from a producer standpoint, and then I think I still use it more on a content creation side of teeing up ideas. Even coming up with questions today, I used AI to go, this is what I'm doing. Give me some ideas so I can help my flow of my podcast today. So that was an example. But as far as like, AI in the space of music, where do you think we're headed, and what are some of those ethical challenges we're seeing in the music space?
Well, I think the common person listening to music and consuming music most likely cannot tell that something is AI. There are those that can, but as far as the music producers that are in the business, I mean, I can tell when music and vocals especially are created with AI. There's just a certain sound to them that you can just tell that they're AI. It's kind of like the producer's version of looking at an AI picture and be like, there's 5 fingers on another,
right.
There's supposed to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like that. There's something with the earlobes and the fingers that are always messed up, and that's kind of frequency wise what we hear as producers with AI. But there are really cool use cases, and this is actually now an older use case, but Randy Travis.
That song,
yeah.
Right?
Yes,
So
I
that was
heard that.
so it was all real musicians. The track was written and obviously produced by real people, but his voice was used to, and I think
trained
on his early vocals and style, but also it was then taken and kind of, you know, EQ'd, and it sounds great.
It does sound good. It's a good song too. It was really cool.
I think that it's going to keep getting better. That's the thing that people have to have in mind, is it is going to keep getting better. There will be a threshold of when you won't be able to tell that it's AI anymore. Same with pictures. Eventually it'll get good enough where you won't be able to tell, and that's very scary.
Yeah, it is very scary. A lot of ethical concerns and all of that.
For sure, there's got to be some legal stuff going on. But, you know, as far as, you know, our songs and production-wise, it's not there yet.
Yeah,
you know, it can't.
And so, you know, in the songwriting space, I thought it was, you know, I don't know how many Nashville writers right now are, you know, pulling up ChatGPT and saying, you know, because there are tools that we use, like to rhyming tools, like what rhymes with, you know. So there's things that people use in the songwriting round. But I thought it was interesting that Berkeley just came out with an AI songwriting masterclass.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm like, okay, so here we are, and that's people, you know, so it's going to happen, I guess is my point. We went into the music side of things, but it's going to happen. So within the contract, you said how to stay ethical. Is this just to like queue up some ideas to help you create content? Do you have it like generate questions? What are these prompts that help? And I'm going to totally go buy this course, by the way.
It's only $27.
I know.
It's a little
by the way, you need to charge way more. I was going to tell you, please charge $97 at least on your courses. So right now, she probably will go up at some point. So a lot of your stuff is very affordable.
Thank you.
I'm going to have the links somewhere near this video so you can find all of that and get in and go ahead and take the course. But with the AI stuff, are these prompts for you to create content? How does it work?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, yes. I'm
not going to give it all away.
Fair enough.
It definitely, it helps you with the brain part of the creation process.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes we get in our heads and we think, you know, oh, should I do this or should I do it? No. This helps you with making decisions and dealing with decision fatigue to be able to set that aside and not have as much weight on the creation process.
Okay, well, fair enough, and $27, so worth it. And we need to tip her and for the value that she really is bringing, that $27. Awesome. So I want to kind of switch over to, well, first of all, the partnerships, because you have worked with Walmart, you worked with, I'm sure you did you start with some smaller brands, or did you end up like, because your virality, people started knocking on your door and then you ended up with these big names? So like, you know, did that happen pretty quickly to get onto the bigger side of things? Or
no, I wouldn't say so. I would say it started out, like there were a little bit of brand deals here and there, for some local stuff, but as far as like Walmart and Academy and stuff, those are agency contracts where they contact me. And so I never know when those are going to come. They come out of nowhere, like happy little lucky things that just drop in your lap.
That is like a gift from God.
Exactly. So it's just always fun when an agency reaches out because you know that they have the money and that they're ready to spend.
So so I'm sure that you started like with your price sheet at some point, and then you've grown that over the time, because I learned, and I'm not going to give away those secrets, but there are ways to monetize your current followers. And so let's shift over into the musician side, because this is what I really think. Well, first of all, if I'm being selfish, I'm like,
I mean, of course, that's why I'm here.
I just think, you know, it's good and it's bad. Let's just talk about what I think is the yin and yang side of where we are in the world as far as digital creation in the day and age of TikToks and Reels and short form video. As musicians, if you have this great piece of work and it's like you've got this great song, but it's honestly, and I've had a lot of consultants and just in general, it is not optional any longer. You have to create content to get your music out there and to get discovered. So the good side of that is, as an independent artist, you have control over that. You can go and do that for free if you learn the tools, or very minimal cost. Learn to have a skill set to build and use some stuff off your phone. You don't have to have a bunch of ton of great equipment. You can start creating and be discovered and end up with a label deal. Like on the flip side is that you are a content creator and you are having to do these other things that take you away from your craft. And that I hear both sides of that. Now, Cliff and I are two people, and we do we're a great team. But, you know, as an artist, I guess my question is twofold. One, what would you recommend for someone who is trying to create content by themselves? And would you have any recommendations for musicians in how to, you know, think through that to find opportunities for local businesses to maybe want to do a brand deal with you, a little mini brand deal?
I would say for opportunities, start small and also think about what you can do right now here in this moment. Like, it's easy to think about Wrangler and Whataburger and big deals, but everybody has a small town home where they come from, or everybody has a city where they come from, where they are a local, where they know the places to go and the things to do. Every single person's got to eat.
Yeah.
And so show off what you're eating. Go behind the scenes and talk about why you love a certain shop and why it's so cool. And what happens is when you start to tag these different businesses, they're going to share your content. And so it pushes you out to their audience, and it makes you an expert. Like, it starts to turn you into this place where people see you as a credible source of, oh, I love this. I love that they are talking about these things. And also, they play cool music. I want to follow them now.
Yeah.
I want to go show up to their shows. Like, I want to go to their concerts. I want to see them. I want to meet them. I want their swag.
Yeah.
I want all of those things. And so the more you continue to label yourself, and there's a little bit of delusion in it, honestly. There's a little bit of Delulu, as popular on TikTok right now.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Where you start to think about, am I an expert? And maybe you get in your head about some imposter syndrome or whatever.
Oh.
But it doesn't matter. Like, just keep doing it. Just keep putting it out there. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what anybody else on the internet thinks. And as you grow, the more you grow, the more hate you're going to get.
Oh, and I heard if you didn't have a hater before noon, you're not doing it right.
Right. Like, I can't even tell you how many people are like, quit talking about Arkansas. You're sharing all of our places. Like, quit sharing our state. And there's no tourism here. Like, all these stupid things.
Yeah.
And it's just like, y'all, like, you don't realize that people come here and they spend their money here, and it goes to our schools and our streets and tax. Like, all these things boost the economy and help small businesses.
Sure.
Anyway,
Sure.
I'm going to go off on a whole tangent on that.
Thick skin and confidence in knowing that if you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. That's
so
honestly,
true.
I have to tell myself that, and then not get in my head, because I mean, if you're not reaching enough people, then I mean, there's not going to be, not everybody's going to love what you're doing. So just have confidence.
Exactly.
Now, as for us, I love that you're saying lifestyle, because it's like not just about me, my music. It's like what I'm doing in our daily lives. Like, Cliff is starting to share his behind the scenes production, maybe, we're thinking like maybe Sweetwater will want to do something with us sometime.
For sure, yeah.
But we also have a local sushi, Rock and Roll Sushi is starting to work with us. So I wanted to tell you that we have started working on a little brand deal with
Congratulations.
them.
That's so exciting.
And it's because the owner of Rock and Roll Sushi saw me creating this content, and it's more behind the scenes. Some of it's music related. Some of it's about our dogs. In fact, Southern Tail Brewing reached out to us because they saw our dog stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's kind of organically starting to happen, because I love to create content, and I'm like, let's share our lives. So it's not just our music. Of course, we want to promote our music and our shows, but we started just going like, what do we do in our natural life? So for me, I think of pillars. I heard pillars once.
Content pillars, yeah.
Content pillars. And so for us, it's like Arkansas centric, because that's super important to us. We want to, no matter where we are in the world, we're like Arkansas champions. And then it's obviously music and country music. So there's a whole lifestyle around Southern living, and then dogs, of course, and then married life and couples. I think those are the things. And then outdoors a little bit. We need to get out there more. So maybe this 52 map is one thing we need to do.
Yeah, for sure.
But, is that important to think about? Maybe have like, when you're going through your ideas of content creation as a musician, do you come up with what's important to you, so that maybe those people who are in those pillars end up following you, and then those brands that are looking for that kind of content? Is that a smart way?
Yes.
Okay.
So I tell people to choose like 3 to 5 content pillars. Mine are like local eats, unique stays, waterfalls, trails, kayaking, things like that.
Got it.
And so staying within the outdoors and also the locally owned space. I don't really work with corporations as much. It's not as important to me, because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like the money's not going to the person that's doing all of the hard work. And so I want to work with a mom and pop shop to be able to put that money straight back into their pockets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love to have all of those content pillars, and it also helps you to really stay on track with, you get in a whirlwind of content creation. It's like, oh, what do I want to create today? Well, I don't know. Well, this gives you a way to kind of hone in that focus and be able to really stay on track with, I create these things.
Yes.
So what can I create within these realms today?
Right. I love that. And so go back into your courses. If you take the course, and especially the AI prompt too, will help you stay within those lanes and kind of take the guesswork out of it. So I need to get that AI course for sure and think about it. So how do you balance spontaneity and planning? Because I sometimes forget to cover, like, I'm just living my daily life, but I've tried to train myself to go, like, let's be spontaneous. Like, if something cool's happening, I grab my phone, you know, so I've trained myself. But how do you balance, like, I've got to go create this content versus things that naturally happen?
Enjoying life.
Yeah.
Like work versus the life enjoyment. What I try to do when I'm on a job or even in spontaneity is to create the content first and then stop and then move forward with just enjoying the process. Because if I'm not, like, if I'm telling myself, Sarah, just enjoy the moment, but I haven't taken the film or taken the video, then I'm thinking about it in the back of my mind and I'm not really enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
So I try to just knock it out first, get that 10 to 30 seconds like done, and then really step into the enjoyment of the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what is one of your favorite places you've ever, I feel like it's going to be Belize.
There's so many.
Yeah. What would be one of your more, like, I don't know, we get questions like, what's the coolest thing that's ever happened to you on stage, or the craziest thing, you know, we've got the answers.
And there's so many to choose from that you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, what would be, like, one of your, like, more up there in the top tier of, like, cool experiences that you got to do as a result of all this?
So you said Belize. Belize was incredible, but I'm going to say Alaska.
Really?
I went to Alaska last September for about 2 weeks. And while we were there, we did a train ride. We were flown into this national park to see the bears eating salmon out of the lake.
Wow.
It was all of these incredible moments that would not have happened without this partnership with Alaska Tourism that we had. And so to be able to just go and experience these things and know that you are turning your audience on to something new and something different that they can experience, like, there's just nothing like it.
So that inspires me to think, you know, we can continue to grow our stuff, and then, like, you know, maybe, I know yours is Arkansas centric, so am I right in thinking that these outside states are looking at Arkansas and they're like, I need to get Arkansas eyeballs on my brand, so that's part of that opportunity. But for us, it's like, how do you get to that point where cool opportunities or, you know, calling you up to come and experience their thing to pay you to be there or whatever? I mean, is that something that is achievable for a musician, you think?
Absolutely. You know, the more content that you create, the more that you put yourself out there, the more eyes are going to see your work, the more likely you are to get hit up by an agency or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it only takes one video to go viral. I know that that's not necessarily the audience that you're really honing into as a musician, because before we came on, we were talking about octopus gummies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the TikTok viral moment that we had was an octopus gummy, like I was saying.
Well, that was the second one.
Yeah.
The first one was cutting a chocolate peanut butter Santa in half.
Yeah, and so
that one got
nothing to do with
millions of views and followers, and, you know, it was like, we were, now our algorithm feels stuck because we don't know how to get people who are more country music loving, you know, folks to follow us. So it is, but I lost my train of thought. But yeah, maybe, you know, I guess basically just stay with it. Viral moments happen, but I think it's like what's more of a marathon, not a sprint. It
absolutely is.
Yeah.
Don't think that you're going to go viral on day one.
Yeah.
Because that may not happen. And the more that you plug at it and the more that you really keep going, because what I found happens is that people discover my page and then they'll go and they'll binge like 10, 15, 30 videos all at once because they see this wealth of content that I have invested my time in creating. Like, I've been doing this for 6 years. And so to really have this bank of information that people can come to our page and be like, oh, this isn't a new account. This is someone that's been here forever. And look at all these other cool videos that I find. So, you know, just keep putting out good stuff.
Awesome.
Well, and on that content creation, it might be kind of the same answer as before, but how did you find a rhythm in how much content per day that you were doing, or
good question.
Or is it just that enjoyment factor of, I'm creating too much content, I need to enjoy myself more? Or did you find like a rhythm of what was really working with how often you were posting, when you were posting?
I would say for probably the first 4 years, I posted every single day. And then it hit a point where I realized that the more I allowed a reel or a TikTok to grow and not post something else immediately, like now I post like 3 days a week. And the views are great and it's fantastic. And I don't feel as much pressure on myself to constantly be creating.
Do you think that's because you've grown to that point? Or is it that a newbie would be successful with just 3 times a week? Like, I feel like when you first get started, I feel like you just got to go at it. Like Gary Vee, like, come on.
Just
like,
go.
Yeah, like so much. And it's overwhelming. But I don't know if it's like, do you think it comes to a point where you don't put less is more? Or how important is it to create a lot of content when you're getting started?
That is such a good question. And I'm going to be really honest. I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I don't know what frequency is going to be right for someone versus someone else.
Yeah.
And it really is about your comfortability with your life.
Yeah.
Like if you're the type of person that can post 2 or 3 times a day, post 2 or 3 times a day if that fits in with your lifestyle. If that stresses you out and you're like, oh my God, I need to post every other day or just 3 times a week, then just post 3 times a week. But what's important is the consistency of making sure that you're continuing to post on a regular basis and not posting once a month and then 3 months down the line being like, oh, well, I guess I should post again.
Yeah.
Like, no, there needs to be some consistency.
Well, that leads me to our podcast. You know, we're all over social media as far as all that, but I really want to start doing more consistent podcasts. So that's one of the things I tell myself on this is like, it's just setting it up and doing the whole thing. It's like, how often should we? And I think we could definitely do better in the space of releasing more episodes. And so that's one of my plans there. But for us, I'm just constantly like, you know, posting out there. So maybe I need to see if less is more during the week and see if I can't give them a little time to grow as well.
Or maybe batch, like do your batch work where you're doing 4 to 6 things at once and then spread them out.
Yeah.
The way I kind of handle it for a video is when I start to see the views drop off, that's when I'll post my next.
Got it.
And so it's getting into that rhythm and that cycle and building that momentum.
Well, let's get geeky for a second before we're done.
Sure.
So how do you measure success? And I'm talking about analytically, like a big brand comes to you and wants to, have you create content. And I know there's some metrics that you look at, and I know you've got over 350,000 across all of these platforms, but how do you measure your success on is it views? Is it demographics? Is it click-through rates? Like, what are these KPIs? All these things
right.
that you would look at maybe and speak to me like I don't know what I'm talking about. Because, most people, I think when they're getting started, I honestly still don't know what button to click to go, where's the insights? And like, I just look at how many views. Like, I look how many views, but I'm sure it's way more than that. So maybe talk to me about that.
I mean, it depends on which company is reaching out to you. Sometimes they want to see views. Sometimes they want to see engagement rate.
Yeah.
What I have done as a creator from the very beginning was I created my media kit. I'm sure that you have a press kit or something like that as well. And
I'm working on it for that.
Yeah, good. So I include different numbers on there, everything from engagement rate to follower count, demographics, as far as sometimes businesses will want to see what's your male to female ratio, like what's the age break so that they know who they're marketing to.
Yes.
So I update that on about a monthly basis and keep all those numbers all together.
And is that found on their dashboard, the professional dashboard on your...
It's found in lots of different places. A couple different things you can use. Clear, Klear, is a great one for pulling some demographics. Social Blade is one that I recommend. Tagger, if you can afford to get an account, is awesome. And then the professional dashboards of each platform. So Meta, Instagram, TikTok.
You click on the thing and then you can go drilling down in there and stuff. Cool. Well, I've always, it's a lot to go off and look. But it's important because when they come to you, I'm sure there's certain metrics that they
do want to see numbers. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Now, what are you finding that most are drawn to one platform over another? Are they hitting you up because of your numbers over here or
Yeah, so everybody wants our Instagram.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest deal right now. And they like that it is cross-posted to TikTok, but I also cross-posted to Facebook. And actually our Facebook audience is over 140,000. Like, it's our highest audience. But
that's interesting for us too. Same for us. I'm having trouble with Instagram, so
well, and we do well on some reels that we do, but our actual post engagement is where we really lack. And we're like, what are we missing?
Yeah.
Do you respond to all your messages, all of your comments?
If we got them.
Yeah. So another thing, like, I've got the Arkansas Creator Collective.
Okay.
And so you can hop on there and you can ask people, other fellow creators, if it's a brand deal, to say, hey, will you go comment on this?
We did this little mini thing with my Piano Ladies group. And so we have a little channel on Instagram that we will share over our content in my little space, and all of us are collectively going and giving some love on our content and where it makes sense. So maybe is that kind of like what you're saying, like
that is
people
awesome. I would say that if an agency can see that you're doing that they will flag it and back off of it, because it's called an engagement pod. And so I don't do that for every single post, definitely not, only for the ones where it matters, like the numbers count, and I need to push it out to a bigger audience. So the more that people comment, the more it'll get pushed up to that next bracket in the algorithm, the more it'll go out to more people.
Yeah.
And so if you can get people to comment in that first minute or two, then that's huge, and that
Didn't
will
know
push. Yeah.
Yeah, so call moms and grandmas. Come on now. Well, I love that, and I love the analytical side. It can be overwhelming at times.
Oh,
to
for
know,
sure.
So,
So another question I have is I guess the monetization aspect of each platform. I hear that YouTube, if you stay consistent with YouTube, it does really well monetarily for people.
For sure.
But it seems like you may be more focused with Instagram. Is that because I guess that's where you started having most success, or was it on TikTok first and then you go over to Instagram?
Or the client started requesting that?
I think that it's all of the above. So we started having the most, I would say, virality on TikTok.
Right.
And then Instagram Reels were created. And so it became a cross-posting situation. But now what I do is, I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes. I'll post to Instagram first, and then I'll pull that video using Snap Insta. And so it keeps that high res and the trending audio and the titles. And then I'll post it directly to Facebook. I don't use the share to Facebook feature because that will...
I feel like it's better. They know you did it.
I don't... And the thing is it's their thing. And I'm like, why doesn't this work? But it doesn't.
Yeah,
and so they like for it to be posted natively, and so I post it natively. So I just copy and paste the same caption and reload it to Facebook. And I mean, a lot of times it does way better on Facebook than it does on Instagram. It's so crazy.
Us too.
So
yeah.
Anyway, and then I'll post the same video to TikTok, but I'll change the trending audio.
Okay. Okay. We're doing similar things.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Have you had any success with YouTube Shorts? Have you tried to do any, focus on YouTube as opposed to your other platforms?
I would say I had more success on YouTube during 2020 when I was doing the 52 Arkansas State Parks.
Yeah.
I did a video on each one.
Was that more long form?
It is. Yeah, it's that 3 to 6
I think,
minute range.
Yeah.
And it's horizontal, and there are hundreds of thousands of views on there for those videos because that's what people are searching for. And so they're popping off. But as far as shorts, I haven't really given it much of a go like I did for like a year. And I was like, this isn't enough numbers for me to keep doing it.
It feels like another box to check that's not giving you a value.
It does.
I'm doing it anyway just to kind of do it, but not every time. Like only on things that I feel like I just kind of use my gut. Like, does this need to live on YouTube? Like, okay, maybe,
I feel like I need an assistant for this, like a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
I think for us, it's probably just because I think YouTube Shorts gives a lot more love to people who are already creators on YouTube for long form that are now also doing short form for their long form.
Yeah.
And it probably just gives preference for those people that have the numbers, have the views, have the accounts that are already built up. But that's just my thought.
Yeah, and do you monetize? Like, is this content? Like, we're getting little checks from Facebook now. I mean, it might be $30 for a
check from Facebook.
I mean, $30 will get us a tank of gas, but maybe.
but you didn't have to do anything to get it besides put out work that you have already created.
So I'm sure you're at some point you started seeing a decent amount of monetization. Yeah. Now, TikTok, am I right? TikTok doesn't pay for content.
They do. They have a creator group that they pay for content. Okay. It's not as much as it is for Meta. Meta pays the most.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that. I want to ask, all of your content, do you keep it all organic? Do you ever run an ad to any content?
Oh, yeah, good question.
So I ran an ad for my courses,
and I loved it. By the way,
thank you.
You came out and you threw your hair back.
Yeah, I did a little transition. It was fun.
It was a good ad. Yeah, so you're promoting your courses.
Promoting my courses, yeah, but that's to my other page, and I haven't done it as much on the Arkie Travels side, which I need to. I don't know why I haven't, but yeah, I just
you could do partner advertising and stuff.
Yeah,
leverage that. Yeah,
and that's what I wondered with some of the brand deals, your sponsored deals.
Now they get the option. Yeah, so that's a separate tier of monetization is when they're asking for usage rights or to be able to run ads using my piece of content, then they have to pay for it. And so that's a chunk. And it's a very nice chunk to receive. And so make sure if you have a brand that is wanting to use your content for ads that you're charging for rights.
Absolutely.
Well, I think this is a great kind of wrap a bow on all of this because really you do teach all of this in your courses, right? I mean, what you just said is one of the tiers that you teach, and I know I need to go back and revisit the whole course and because I really when I took your course, I focused more on how you do your content. I like how you walk up to something and how you like the angle of the camera and how you're doing some of that because I love that part of it. But I know you've got everything from where you can get discovered as an influencer,
for sure,
how to tier out your pricing and what to expect to charge based on where you are with your current follower package. So, y'all definitely, how can they find your content creator course and your AI stuff? Like, where would be the best place for them to?
Yeah, so in my link tree on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, I've got all of that information there, and you can definitely pull that and take a look.
Awesome. So is that on ArkieTravels?
It is, yeah.
Awesome. So everything is now. Do you have any personal branding that you kind of create content on that too, or is it mainly just only on ArkieTravels?
Like when you say personal branding,
like on your, you're like, I've got Susan Irwin Prowse, and I kind of sometimes create things over there, but I live on Cliff and Susan on those platforms. Yeah. So do you ever worry about or think about any of your personal accounts, like you as your name on Facebook versus your brand on Facebook? Do you do anything?
Yeah, just a little bit, but not as, I would say that I live on ArkieTravels too.
Yeah, okay. So everybody just go follow ArkieTravels.
Thank you.
On all of the places. And so if they click that link tree, they're going to find those courses.
Absolutely.
Because, and they're $27 each, which is...
Well, the creator course is $97 and then the encyclopedia is $27.
Okay.
Thank goodness. I was like, if that's not $97 at least, I remember seeing a $27. So definitely... just you guys learn from the best. She's a pro. I've watched you grow over the years, and it's just so cool to watch. And of course, our heart is all Arkansas here on this podcast. So it's cool to have that in similarity. And I just love thinking through how musicians can learn from someone like you to really leverage their brand and create another income source. That's
for sure
something they can do. It takes time to build, but you're already hopefully out there building that with your music. So coming up with your content pillars and going and taking that course and getting some next level plans to monetize your brand and your fans in a tasteful way. I think that's the other cool. It doesn't feel salesy when you're creating content around things you already naturally do. And your mission statement and all that stuff. So anything else that you can think? Did you have any other questions?
I don't think so. I might have, but I think I got them out.
I think we need to do a partnership at some point.
We should. I know, we've talked about this for years.
Yeah, we have. And when we came out with our song "A Natural State," we were like, we've got to figure out how do we contact local, businesses or CVBs across the state? How do we talk to Arkansas tourism? And we even played "A Natural State" at the Arkansas Governor's Conference, which, by the way, your presentation was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
So it's cool to see all of us kind of starting to work more on the state level and just really leaning into our Arkansas hearts to provide content, music. So let's do some kind of brand partnership where we do the music / content. You're doing it. Maybe, I don't know what that looks and feels like, but let's put that into the universe.
I've got some ideas.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. And I could talk for another hour and a half about all this, but hopefully you guys were able to pull from this, and I know you did, some educational pieces about just how to leverage digital. I love it. I think it's a great time. There's no time like right now to start continuing that content creation. And whether you're a small business owner or someone who looks at someone like Sarah and you're like, hey, I need her to work with me, reach out to her. Musicians and everyone out there, just, think about what you can do in the digital era and leveraging even AI. So we covered so many topics today.
We did so good. I'm proud of us.
Yeah, I am too. You guys stay tuned to the next episode and definitely go give Sarah some love on all of her channels.